Hey everyone, and welcome to lesson 2 of my easy guitar series. Today we're actually going to start working on some of the basics of playing guitar. So we have two main elements that you need to be able to do to play guitar. You have a strumming hand, that's going to strum the strings, and then you have your other hand, which is your fingering hand or your chording hand, and that's responsible for actually holding chord shapes or playing individual notes across the fretboard. Now, both of these activities that you do with your hands are not necessarily the most comfortable things that you would do in your regular life. Strumming is a bit easier because your whole hand is moving together as one unit, but there's going to be a bit of a learning curve to that. More so, though, is going to be building that independence between your fingers on your fingering hand. And that's because other than maybe playing piano, there's not too much that we do in our regular lives that really build that finger independence, especially when it comes to our ring finger and our pinky finger. So first we'll start off with our actual strumming hand. All I'm doing is I'm laying my fingering hand across the strings so that it mutes them for now, and then I'm focusing just on this strumming hand. So I'm using a guitar pick, but you can actually strum without one. So if you want to strum without a guitar pick, you're just strumming with your fingernails across the strings. So I'm doing all 4 of my fingers down, and then my thumb fingernail is going up. So down and up, down and up. And there are many people who play like this just with their hand and don't use a pick. Now it's convenient if you don't have a pick, your hand's going to be there ready to go. But a pick is going to give you a lot more control when you're getting started, and it's helpful for anytime you have to start doing more intricate things in the future. So getting used to playing with a pick isn't actually a bad idea. I would encourage you to do it. I have a pick here. They're usually in this triangular shape. And how I hold a pick is I actually take the pick itself. I have my thumb and my index finger. I put them on either side, almost in this sort of heart shape for your fingers. Okay? And then I just slide the pick right in there. So the thumb is almost across the pick here. And then my index finger sits almost straight with the pick on the back. And if I need to, I can pull my middle finger in for a little extra support, but usually I just use those 2 fingers. But you want to make sure you have a good grip on your pick itself. I actually use these brain picks, which, if you can see, have a bit of like a knurled style on there. And that, just those little raised bumps allow you to have a bit more grip over the pick. So just something to consider as you're playing. Maybe find a pick that's got a bit more grip to it so you can hold it a little bit better, because you'll most likely be dropping your pick when you're learning how to strum, sometimes in the sound hole of the guitar, which may be a little funny at the beginning, but it can be a little annoying if it happens too often. So now I've got my grip on my pick. I want to make sure that's a nice solid grip, and then we can start strumming. I actually use a fairly light pick, so this is a 0.53, which allows a lot of flex to the pick itself. So you can see here, the pick easily bends as I'm pushing it with my other finger. And that way, as I'm playing the strings, it doesn't get caught on the strings. It doesn't get stuck as it's strumming through. On electric guitar, I use a slightly thicker pick, but for acoustic, I like that thin pick that's going to glide across the strings. So you can see here that I'm just sort of letting the pick itself glide right across the strings. And what we want to do for this strumming building exercise is play all the strings down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then play all the strings back up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So then we can get used to that motion, down and up. Do it one way at a time at the beginning, and make sure we're hitting all 6 of those strings, and back up with all 6 strings. And then start to increase your speed as you get more comfortable with hitting all of those strings together. You may run into at the beginning that you're getting an inconsistent sound across the strings, like some strings will sound louder than others, and that's just getting used to how much pressure or how far you actually have to put the pick into the strings. As you can see here, I'm not really going that far. It's just the tip of the pick I'm trying to get across the string itself. But if you go further in, where you have almost like half the pick there, it's going to be a lot harder to glide across those strings because you're going to get stuck along the way. And that's where you'll have that some strings will sound like they're either hitting and taking longer before you hit the next string, or they'll be a little louder as you're hitting them through your strum. So you want to try and get that as nice and consistent as possible, a nice solid flow through it, and then work on increasing that speed. Until you're really comfortable with that motion. That's going to take some time. Work on it as long as you need to, but getting that motion down is going to be really helpful for you on a strumming side. So now we're going to move over to our fingering hand or our chording hand, and we're going to work on a technique that's going to help us build finger independence. Now this is probably going to take you a bit of time because, again, it's not normal for us to move our fingers independently of each other in most things that we do in our life. So the way that I would work on this for an exercise is line up your fingers across the first 4 frets of your high E string. So we got 1, 2, 3, and 4. And just hold all your fingers down on those strings and then move them in order one at a time. So up and down, that's 1. Up and down, that's 2. Up and down, that's 3. Up and down, that's 4. Okay? And work on this. You'll notice that some of your fingers will probably move together at the beginning. It's going to be a little difficult for you to get them to move independently. But as you work on this, it's going to help you develop over time. And doing this on the guitar is best because you get the feel for the string under your finger. But you can actually do this guitar just on a tabletop or some other surface, or even on your arm if you want to. And just work on moving your fingers independently, right? And this ring finger, you can see it doesn't even move as much as the other ones. It's just about training and developing that skill, right? So keep working on it until you can move your fingers independently from each other. And again, you could even do that on like a tabletop surface. You can just hold your guitar because you're not really making noise on it if you're watching TV or a movie or something like that, and just work on building that skill. Then you can take it from your high E string and move to your B string. Now your string's a little bit thicker, so it's going to be a little bit of getting used to the feel of that string. And then move to your G string. And we're not so concerned about the names of these notes just yet. We're more concerned about building the independence of our fingers. So this is on the D string right now. Let's move to our A string. And to our low E string. Okay, and once that becomes really comfortable, it's going to take some time, so be patient with yourself on this. And you can move those fingers independently. Then you can start to work on doing them in a different order. Maybe you want to go backwards. Start with your pinky finger, and then your ring finger, and then your middle finger, and your index. Or maybe you want to try a different order, so you can go 1, and then 3, and then 2, and then 4. And this will allow you to continue to build upon that different finger independence so that when it comes to actually playing notes or playing chords, you have control over each of your fingers and where you need them to go. So I would do those 2 exercises just to begin with, really get comfortable with those, and that's going to help you out later on as we're learning chords, as we're learning individual notes. If you have control over your individual fingers, that's going to be a huge benefit. And if you've got enough control over your strumming hand where you're not having to focus on what you're doing on this side to get that nice even strum, then it's going to allow you to focus more on your playing hand on the other side. So that's the lesson for today. I hope that helps. Work on these things. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment and ask them, and I'll try and help you out with that. And hopefully you get these techniques down, and when I see you in the next lesson, you'll be ready to continue on your guitar playing journey. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and as always, love you guys.